So welcome to the Winter Series 2019. We're currently at the wonderful Lin Brook Fishery, which is in Ringwood. Unfortunately, the weather is not on our side. It's the Winter Series, obviously. It was always going to be raining, cold, wet, miserable. So we arrived this morning and the rain has just not stopped, unfortunately. But the lake itself has got plenty of fish in and it's got a little bit of winter form as well. So we're told there's around about 400 fish in here and some of them are absolutely gorgeous. So fingers crossed we can get amongst a few. Joining me on this session is Perry Alabaster. Now the pair of us haven't been here before. This is both our first time being here. We're a little bit unsure of where to go, but luckily for us, the owner has helped us out swim choice wise, and he said to us a lot of the fish over the weekend were on the basically the furthest walk you could possibly get that's on this lake. So we're currently in swims 10 and 11, myself and Perry. This morning we got all our kit round here. We had a flip of a coin for each swim. Perry won the toss and decided he was going to go into peg 10, which gives you a fair amount of open water, and he's got an island to his left hand side. Myself in peg 11, you've got there's some feeding sticks out there that the owner has put out in the centre of the pond. You've got 4 sticks out there and he obviously feeds the fish within that vicinity. So that is probably where I'm going to end up starting, to be honest. But in the meantime, I'm going to attempt to get all my fishing kit up without getting too wet and then decide on where I'm going to put the rods. Well, I finally managed to get my rods out, even though the heavens will not stop at the minute. We get these tiny little windows where you know, it stops raining and can finally get the rods out. I've put 2 out on PVA bags, so it's not ideal when it's pouring down with rain, to be honest. And I've just basically pinged them straight out into the middle, in amongst the sticks that I spoke about earlier on. Now my right hand rod went a lot more smoothly than I thought it was. What I've basically done is, rig wise, I'm just using a hinge stiff rig, and reasoning behind that is I wanted to put it out with a baiting pole. We've basically got an out of bounds bank down to the right hand side of my swim, and there's a lot of overhanging trees there. So what I've done is I've put the baiting pole out in the water, and it's got a big flotation float on it. I've managed to chuck over without the rig on, so I've basically taken the rig off on the leg clip system. I've managed to chuck it over the pole first time, then walk back round, brought the lead in with the baiting pole, attached the rig, and I've just basically put a handful of 8mm out, a handful of 8mm within the spoon, put the hinge stiff rig into there, and then shipped it out underneath one of the overhanging trees. I've basically put it right underneath there. It'd have been an impossible cast to make for anyone either side of the pond, basically. So that's sitting down there looking pretty on that rod. Like I say, I've got 2 solid bags on the other, just some crayfish mini mix in there with little PB wafters. I might spod. Now, we've been told that spodding is the kiss of death on here, but to me that just seems like, you know, it's something you probably want to do. It's maybe going to give you an edge over everyone else that fishes on here, but you know, it's one of them things. I'm a little bit undecided of what I'm going to do. No doubt a bit later on I'm going to end up spodding. So I've managed to get my rods out. We're going to go over to Perry's swim and see how he's going to tackle this place. That was a wet start to the day then.
It was a bit, yeah.
Nice, mate.
Soaked, didn't we?
Weather is not the one. What do you think then?
Yeah, I don't know, it looks alright, don't it? But been a bit slow. The guy blanked, didn't he, when we first got down here, the one who just left.
Yeah, there was a guy in the corner, yeah.
But there's been a few fish out recently, isn't there?
Yeah, over the weekend, so the owner was saying that there was...
Chances.
Yeah, I think they were up to... he had a 29-pounder, so
did he?
Apparently, yeah. Mate had a 29.
The only fish we see was in here earlier, wasn't it? I think. When
we were walking
for swims.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, double-headed 50 pence come in handy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
To be fair, we're fishing similar waters anyway, aren't we, really?
We've both got the same sort of idea at the moment.
Yeah. What have you got? So obviously this is your first time here.
It is, yeah.
You know, what have you done? You know,
well, I think I've done similar to you. We've taken a bit of advice off the owner, haven't we, or the bailiff, whatever the guy is. He's got sticks out here anywhere he baits and feeds the fish sometimes, so that was quite an obvious choice to go one beyond that first stick out there. Just got a little PVA mesh bag of again mini crayfish pellets. I've been a big fan of them this season. This fishing season.
So what are you thinking? So, sort of going in gently sort of thing to start off with?
Same as you. I heard what you were saying about you're reluctant to spod, and I am too, from what I've heard. But you feel like you want to at least over one, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I sort of want to spod over at least the one what's out of the way, and then if it affects it badly or has an adverse effect, it's not going to matter with the other two rods. But
no. Do you think that's because of the size of the place? Do you reckon that's the reason being?
I've heard people say things like that before, and I don't know, if the fish are not there when you spod, then you're not spooking them. That's the way I sort of might look at it. And then if it's the bait they're worried about, then if you're fishing, like spodding mini crayfish pellets, liquids and things like that, then it's all like dissolvable sort of stuff and attraction, isn't it? So
definitely.
It's not like a big bed of bait that they're going to spook off. It's the attraction you want there. So I'm reluctant not to spod over one, to be honest. So that's going to come into play on one of my rods, I think. But I've just gone little stick mixes with mini crayfish pellets on two. Little crumb and mini crayfish pellet mix in one just down the margin here.
Right, what, like boilie crumb? And
boilie crumb, mini crayfish pellets.
A
little bit of the Nutter-esque glug on it, because it's a Nutter-esque snowman.
Right.
That's got a little PB, half a PB pop up.
Right.
So like a snowman. So I've got a little few grains of corn in there as well, just to give the yellow, because it's the same as a yellow PB. You know, I always like to put a little flash of yellow in there as well. Not too much. Out there, I've just literally gone a stick on their own. One with a milky malt pop up, and one just Nutter-esque on its own. So you've got sort of different hook baits on each. Different sort of hook baits. All sort of Nutter-esque based, to be honest, because that's the one I've got most confidence in the winter. That's what I'm starting with. Couple of them, as I say, are tipped, but one's white, one's yellow at the moment.
Have you had a lead round out there? Have you found much?
Not too much. I didn't want to go leading like mad. The guy said there's not much feature wise, and it's got this sort of blue dye you can see. So you presume it's obviously been weed treated. So there's not much out there, I don't think. So it's not really worth leading around too much.
Well, you know, it's got winter form, so you know, fingers crossed. It's mild.
I know, it is mild,
considering it's winter time. It's been a lot more mild than now.
Got soaked this morning.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
It is quite mild. It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, it feels good for a bite, mate. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah. First one, it's on the old Nutter S with the little PB, half PB, so a little flash of yellow's done that one. Happy days. Here's the first one of the session just before dark. Just a bit of relief for us that something's happening. It's only a little double, nice little common, mint little common, so well happy with that just to get us underway. More than welcome. On the margin rod, I just backleaded it down there just to keep it pinned down, keep it away from the swans more than anything. But it seems to have paid off, that margin rod, so a bit of confidence on that one at least. Yeah, happy days, pleased with that. Get it back.
Well, not sure what time it is. Drifted off about an hour ago. I think it's about 11 o'clock at night. And my left hander in amongst the sticks has gone. It's ideal. Absolute one-toner it was. This time. Yes. Lovely jubbly. Okay. Let's try and look at she's lovely. Barbless hooks. Well, nice and easy. Oh, come on now, please. Oh, right, well, I'm a little bit concerned. After spodding, I put about 15, maybe 20 spods out in amongst the sticks, and I've got 2 rods on that area. And going into darkness, I was wondering, you know, all the little gremlins sitting on my shoulder saying, have you ruined it by spodding? Well, that wasn't the case. I've managed to bank that absolute beauty. What a lovely carp. 22 pound, 10 ounces. He is a real mint common. He fought so well as well. Absolutely epic. The old solid bag come good. I've been spodding out some of the mini beta stim pellets along with some switch 8 millers. Absolutely buzzing with him. Awesome carp. And nice to be off the mark as well. What a beautiful fish. Oh, buzzing with him. Yes! Mwah. Lovely creature. Awesome. only just ping this middle rod back out. I've still got that fish just sat down there. It's gone again. Now he wakes up. There he is. Got it. Yes. Oh. Lovely jolly. A bit of carnage in the night. So, a lovely scaly one there. A lovely little scaly one. Oh, look at him. He is absolutely mint. Lovely little carp. So alright, alright. Yeah, proper nice that one. Oh. Well, I've just landed that second fish. Just checked the time and it's 20 to 8, so it's starting to get light now anyway. So I'm just going to leave these two. Oh, the heavens have opened up, which isn't ideal, especially when you're trying to film. So hopefully the heavens stop so that I can film these two fish. I'm having battery nightmares at the minute. All the batteries are just dead because of obviously how cold it is. Typical for this time of year, I suppose. So I've just got myself a new rig retied. I'm not going to rechuck the rod straight back out there because it's going to be light soon anyway, so I'll be able to see a lot better out there. I'd rather chuck in the daylight really. So yeah, I'm going to bung the rod back out there. The other rod's still on the spot anyway. The left hand rod's still out there. I think if I wouldn't have had that out there, I'd have got the rod straight back out again. But all the meantime, you know, I've got two lovely carp sat in the net. It's going to get light really soon anyway, so I'm just going to leave them there for the next sort of 10 minutes because it doesn't take that long to get light, and then get them out and yeah, have a look at them, see what size they are. One of them's obviously, you know, a low double. The others, I'm sure, 22, 23 pound again. Lovely scaly fish, you know, a pair of them are absolute minters, which is nice, especially this time of year. Bites are more than welcome, unlike the weather. Anyway, right, I'm going to wait for it to get daylight and then get these two fish out. Buzz in. Nice. How about that then? What an immense carp that one is. This is exactly what Lin Brook is famous for. These beautiful scaly creatures like this one in my hands. 23 pound, 1 ounce I think this one was. I'm not too sure on the ounces, I can't remember. And it's difficult to know which side is best with this one because he is mint both sides. Oh, mega happy with him. I obviously got on that spot where I'd been spodding out last night because not long after had I netted this one, I managed to catch another as well. Not as big as him, but gorgeous all the same, definitely. Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. This carp is freezing cold. Heavens haven't stopped raining, but I couldn't be happier. Buzzing, yes. Mwah. Oh, thank you, girl. How about that for an absolute perler? Third fish from this morning. Absolutely buzzing with him. He is gorgeous. Right, I'm going to get him back, get the other rod rechucked because I was obviously aiming at the wrong tree last night, and get a load more bait on the spot. I've seen a couple of fish show this morning right behind the spot, so they're definitely going to want a bit more food. So I'm going to put another 10 or 20 spods back out there and a couple of solid bags over the top. What a mint carp. Mega. Yes! Mwah! Right, time to say goodbye. Let's go. That's the rods all back out and sorted then. We've got a tiny little window where it's only drizzling and not pouring down with rain at the minute. But yeah, both rods have gone out absolutely sweet. I'm actually fishing 16 wraps out of this swim, peg 11. You've got two conifers in the background as horizon markers. and that's what I'm fishing towards. For some stupid reason last night after I'd had that common, I chucked to completely the wrong tree left of the swim div, so hence that rod being quiet. But the other rod, that middle rod, that obviously went twice last night, which was nice, or twice this morning should I say. I'm a bit zombified, to be fair. The rain has been that relentless, you know, myself and Perry haven't had much sleep last night, so we'll catch up with Perry in a moment, see how his night went. Yesterday evening, myself and Perry, we saw fish right down in the bottom corner, and I went to sort of bed last night thinking should have moved on them, you know, nothing was happening out in front of me here. Oh, left hand rod's just bounced, I don't know what, maybe something fell out of the tree and hit it, I don't know. But yeah, it was sort of, as it got dark yesterday evening, there was a group of fish in that bottom corner. You could see, you know, sort of a couple of feet under the surface, and there was like an albino grass carp with them, so you could, you know, you could see him blatantly, obviously, and you could just see dark shapes swimming around next to him. And I was contemplated, you know, shall I move in the dark sort of thing, because I'd spotted out of here yesterday evening, and I was sort of wondering whether I'd ruined it, obviously with people saying don't spot on here, it's a kiss of death, etc. And I hadn't heard anything out in the middle of the swim either, or the vicinity of where I'd been fishing. I'm so glad I didn't move. I was that close, you know. I was contemplating, I was thinking, shall I washing line it over there, you know. I was thinking of all this sort of tactics that I could use to fish for them fish that were in the corner without sort of spooking them, i.e., you know, the washing line effect. And I was going to do that this morning. I was going to pack up early and then move down there if nothing else had happened in the swim. Well, luckily I'd obviously had them fish this morning, so yeah, I'm absolutely elated with that. And beautiful, beautiful carp as well, which is really nice. So rods are back out now. I've put 10 spods back over the top with the beat stem pellets and a few of the 8mm. I'm basically filling the spod up 3/4 full with the beat stem pellets, which I've actually had soaking for ages, for as long as I can remember, in the switch liquid food. Just gives them that little bit more weight to, you know, fall through the water column sort of thing, get them down to the bottom of the lake bed. And then the other quarter of the spod is being filled up with the 8mm. I don't think Perry ended up spodding last night, but obviously after seeing my results this morning, I've seen Perry chucking a few spods out there now. So, you know, he's getting on it. So we're going to pop over to Perry swim, see how he got on last night, whether he had any liners or anything. And yeah, see what the rest of today brings. Definitely going to need to get my head down. God, I feel like a right zombie. So, right, we'll pop over, see how Perry's getting on. I'm going to have a little kip, I think.
Well, good morning. Unfortunately, it was a quiet night for me after that little common caught from the margins. I had a chat with Mozza and we was talking about spodding, and we both decided to spod a bit of gear out there. I wasn't as brave as Mozza, to be honest, because he went spodding straight out in front of him into quite a good looking area in between the sticks where they feed the carp, and we have seen the odd fish out there. I spodded out to my left hand side thinking if it did ruin me swim a little bit, it's only going to ruin one side of it, so it's not going to affect the other places where I'm fishing. Unfortunately, that little plan didn't come off for me because nothing happened on the spod. The rain was relentless last night, so I didn't think anything had happened, but Mozza's done really well. He's obviously had 3 early hours of this morning, so it's proving that the spodding out in the open water does work. So obviously this time of year, if you get a bite, it's best to stay with it. So I've left my little margin rod down there. I still fancy picking up something else from there, even if it's only pest control, getting rid of the little ones so Mozza can catch the bigger ones. But I've gone out in front of me now. I've got 2 rods fairly close together. I've put a fair bit of bait out there. I've got some chopped nutter S, Plenty of mini crayfish pellets in the mix, which has done me well all season really. I've added a bit of matching hydro spod syrup because my little margin rod, that's catapult range with the pellets and things, it's literally, I'm no more than 10 yards out, so I added some hydro spod syrup to that early evening yesterday, and that went off soon after, so it certainly doesn't do any harm to add that little bit of extra attraction. And if you get one from that spot with a hydro syrup on there, I always feel you're going to get something else, because even if all your bait's gone, you've still got the attraction of the liquid bringing the carp in. So that's my tactics for today. I've now got 2 on bait out there. I've still got my margin spot. The weather's looking good. The rain is holding off for now. We're probably in for a lot more, but it's nice and mild for winter. It's not bad at all. So it's looking really good, staying confident. So yeah, let's hopefully get more action.
On the old milky malt, you. Oh, right, well, this is the only rod that hasn't gone in the swim so far, and this is the rod that I'd put over underneath the tree that you can see on the opposite bank there. Basically put my baiting pole, which is still on the bank over there, put it out into the water, just cast the bare lead over, and yeah, put the 8 millers underneath that tree, just basically somewhere where you just wouldn't be able to cast. And yeah, it's on a hingey, this, on a milky malt hinge stiff rig, just because when you drop it from the spoon, it'll obviously set itself as it drops through the water. That was my reasoning behind it. I've sort of balanced it so that it kicks away from the lead as it's dropping out of the baiting spoon. And yeah, this has been out, well, over 24 hours now, and it's gone. Proper mint. Milky malt hanging out the chops. What, son? Yes! Lovely jubbly. What? Yeah, he's a pretty one, isn't he? How about him then? Absolutely awesome. That margin rod being the only rod that hasn't gone in the swim, and it's gone with this one. Absolutely mint. Gorgeous little carp he is. I'm going to keep him out too long. I want to get the rod straight back out there. This is probably one of the fish that I actually harvested last week, maybe the week before I think it was. So this could quite possibly be the second time I've actually handled this fish. So I'm going to get his mouth treated. He's no doubt never been caught before, and then send him on his way. But awesome all the same. And then get that rod straight back out there using the baiting pole again. Mega carp. Lovely. Mwah. Thank you, darling. Well, I know it seems mad, but I'm not actually gonna re-chuck that rod. I've just put that fish back, and yeah, it was a bit of a hindrance, that rod last night, due to the fact that when I was playing the fish that was obviously hooking out in amongst the baiting sticks last night, they kept diving underneath that rod, and I was having to pass it underneath, submerging the rod to get it, you know, sort of underneath one line and over another, and I nearly reeled that rod in last night just because it was being a bit of a pain in the arse trying to nip one pearl one sort of thing. So I'm not actually going to put that rod out. It hasn't, you know, it's not been the most prolific rod. I think tonight I'd like to think that, you know, that spot will kick off again out in the middle of the pond. So I don't really want that rod sort of hindering me whilst sort of playing fish. I know it seems like madness, you know, you've had a bite off of a rod, you should just chuck it back out, but it's a nightmare obviously casting over this baiting pole and then shipping it all out back underneath there. And if it's going to hinder sort of the bites that I'm hoping to get tonight from out in the middle of the pond, then I think it's best just not to chuck it back out. So I've come round to this sort of out of bounds bank to collect me pole basically. So I'm going to get this pole in, because no doubt I'll end up leaving this here. I'll just completely forget that it's here. So I've come round now, I'm going to get the pole in. I'm not going to put that rod out, I'm just going to fish with my 2 rods out in the open water that's on the solid bags with the bait round it, in the hope that, you know, it's going to kick off again tonight with that one. So that's the state of play at the moment. Sun's dipping now, thank God it stopped raining as well. The rain has just been savage the whole time we've been here, and we must have had at least half an hour now where it hasn't rained. So yeah, whilst it's semi-dry at the minute, I'm gonna get my pole packed away, and then I think we're gonna get a takeaway tonight. It's having a couple of beers with Perry in the swim next door, which is nice. I haven't had a beer in blimmin' ages, to be honest with you. So yeah, well, much deserved catching a few fish from here. Why not celebrating with a couple of beers with your mate? So that's the plan for tonight. I think we're going to get a takeaway as well, the ever famous Keskins. For all you guys that obviously fish in Ringwood, you all know about the Keskins. Absolutely mega. It's all about the special chicken sandwich burger. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to getting that with some chili sauce. Lovely. Oh, mouth is watering. Anyway, I'm going to stop rabbiting on. There's a new one. Rabbiting on. I'm going to get me pole in, and then hope that it kicks off out in the middle of the pond for tonight. Middle rod has just gone. There he is there. Right. Another bite. Right. Lovely jubbly. In the net. Another one of the stockies. A lovely one. Right, I'm going to put him straight back, I think. Back to his watery home, because I've got food coming. I'm starving. Fish on. I don't know what's going on. Mate, they do this, they swim right to the bank and then they act like carp under the rod tip. The smallest carp in the world. I'll probably swing it in. He can go, he can go, he can go.
second one from me. Typical pretty little scaly Lin Brook mirror, just into dark. From the baited spot. Bit of hydro spod syrup over the spot, so hopefully that'll bring more through the night. It's just started to rain, which is not ideal, but that's very welcome. Bit of a confidence booster before the night sets in. So, well happy with that. First mirror of the session for me. 4 more to catch Mozza up. Happy days.
Well, the biggest one so far, absolutely mint. 26 pound 10 ounces of beautiful common carp from the wonderful Lin Brook. Bite number 8 and fish number 8 as well. I managed a few stockies going into darkness, which I just put back, and yeah, hoping for one of the bigger ones to turn up, and that's happened obviously with this minter at 26 pound. Absolutely buzzing. I'm running out of bait, I'm running out of bags. You don't really prepare yourself in winter to be having as many bites as this. So yeah, chuffed as nuts with this one. Absolutely buzzing. Awesome carp. Happy days. Nice. Yes.
So I'm all packed up and ready to go off to work, which is a shame. Mozza's still got 1 rod out. He's had an action-packed night with a couple more fish. Nothing else happened for me after that mirror. The rain, the heavens just opened up, the rain came down. They seem to descend on Mozza like typically, but 10 fish between us, we're well happy with that. I only got 2 of them, but if you won 10-0 in a football match, the first goal was most important. So I got the first one, so obviously that's the important one. But on a serious note, it's been a great time down here at Lin Brook. The fish are cracking. It's somewhere I'd like to come back to. It's a shame I'm 2.5 hours away, but if ever my missus is having a weekend down Bournemouth or fancies a weekend at the beach, I'll be bringing the rods and coming down here, I think. All in all, yeah, cracking place, well run. Paul and the bailiffs have been really helpful. Can't fault it, yeah, so look forward to coming in again.
Well, good morning, and yeah, another hectic night last night. Absolutely amazing. That 26 common, you know, had tipped it off perfectly. Absolute mega fish. I've spoken to Paul, the owner, this morning as well, and he said that that's one of the originals that's in here. The stamper fish that we've had have been biblical, as Ian McMillan would say, and yeah, every single one different scalies, the commons, even they've been different, you know, long and lean, and the fish has just been second to none. Every single one is in such good condition, and that's, you know, Paul, you know, keeping on top with the venue. I've never seen someone so on top with the place before, to be honest. I've been chatting to Perry about it, and it's, you know, it's great to see how keen he is with the venue, how he looks after all his anglers. You know, Paul is an absolute legend. So for any of you guys that are coming down here, and obviously you'll get to meet Paul, the bailiffs, every single one of them, you know, the hospitality has been phenomenal. It truly has. All of the swims, they've got nets and mats in, so if you do come down, you don't need to bring your nets and your mats, which is ideal really, not only for obviously the fishery, you know, keeping disease away, but you don't have to put your smelly nets and mats back in your motor for when you go home after a successful fishing session like the one that I've had here. I'm only fishing with 1 rod at the moment. Been a bit lazy last night, to be honest. I've had hardly any sleep the last 2 days. So yeah, woke up this morning with 1 rod out in the pond, and unfortunately it's pointing in the wrong direction. I'm looking at the line lane, it's not pointing to where the spot is. You know, with the heavens opening up every night, your PVA back fishing, you don't have your eyes to adjust by turning your head torch off to see your horizon markers. So I've just been like, just go for it. And yeah, unfortunately this morning I'm looking at the rod and it's pointing in the wrong direction. With one of the rods hanging up against a bivvy, this is funny enough the rod that had actually caught the 26 common on. Just to briefly run you through the rig exactly, nice supple braid there, and that just allows it to sort of curl up inside the PVA bag. 3.5 ounce inline lead, not fishing and drop off style. The lake's been treated, there's no weed out there. Paul's got all of the snags out of the water, so you know there's no need to be dropping leads in my eyes in here. So you know, I've just been fishing with the leads fixed on in the solid bags, you know, a little PB wafter there. Just been obviously putting the crayfish mini mix pellets into the bag, which I've run out of now, and obviously spodding out them 8 millers and the 2mm beat stim pellets over the top. They are definitely not scared of the spodding here. Last night I spodded out in the night and within half an hour I'd had a bite sort of thing, so they're definitely not scared of the spodding here like we were told. You know, spodding is the kiss of death. Definitely bring your spod rod if you're going to be coming to Lin Brook, that's for sure. The facilities on site, again, you know, it's all protected all the way round on Lin Brook. You've got toilets here, showers, all clean. I honestly cannot speak highly of this venue enough. It is a lovely, lovely place to come, not only in the winter but throughout the year as well. It's obviously got winter form. I've finished up on 8 bites. Perry had a couple of bites. I honestly thought he was going to pull it out the bag with a monster, to be honest. Perry is renowned for catching lots of monsters. I just think these winter series are a little bit unlucky for him, bless him, with the size of fish. But he hasn't blanked this time round. I believe he blanked last year. Probably kill me for mentioning that again. I think it still hurts him, that blank from last year. But no, honestly, get yourself down to Lin Brook Fishery. It is an amazing, amazing place. The bailiffs do, you know, they go out their way to help you. The owner, Paul, as well. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the venue. Everything's still sodden wet. The sun is actually in the sky at the minute. Oh, it's beautiful on my skin. Believe you me, I've been soaking wet from the minute I've got here. So now is a great time to pack away. I hope you all enjoyed this first winter series. I know I certainly have. It's been a great start to the winter series 2019.